Larry Kudlow, my colleague and co-host and friend, CNBC, Kudlow Radio on the weekend, and Bill Whalen of the Hoover Institution is here. We're discussing Donald J. Trump. The polls are pointing in the wrong direction for the Republican Party. I saw a Monmouth poll today on Florida showing Donald Trump down 9 points to Mrs. Clinton. There's plenty of time. The first debate is September 26th, but the candidate makes news by attacking the media. Bill, if you are the campaign manager, and if the candidate obeys you, what do you want to see in these next weeks before the debate in Long Island?
The first thing I would do is I would stop attacking the media on a daily basis. It just doesn't advance the ball. And guess what? The media are selfish, and the media like to report when the media is attacked. They love nothing more than talking about themselves. Thus, it becomes a distraction. The focus has to be on Hillary Clinton, going back to what I said earlier about putting her back in the news. So I would just stop going out there every day and talking about crooked CNN and all the other lines he has. I know his crowds applaud it, and the ralliers eat it up, but it's not moving the ball forward to him. So that's number one. Second, it's not a time to panic. Larry's absolutely right. You go back to 1980 and look at a Gallup poll from August 15th in 1980. Ronald Reagan is down by 8 points, and we know how that election turned out. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is Ronald Reagan. It could indeed be a very different ending, but campaigns are not necessarily decided in the middle of August. It's an opera with a couple more acts to play out. So if I'm Trump and I'm looking at these leads in these various states, I just wouldn't panic. I just think about chipping away at it very smallly between now and the debates. And the debates with each passing week just become huger and huger.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, I always agree with Bill Whalen. Well, almost always. I mean, I don't get the media thing at all. I mean, here's a guy, God bless him, he gets more media than any person in the history of politics. So that right there, if they spell his name right, is a plus. I mean, look, the media, the mainstream media, always hates Republicans. This is not news. But as you say, he's not running against the media. He's running against Hillary and, I guess, Obama. And that just brings me back to my point. I mean, I'm a Johnny One Note on this. The number one issue is the economy, related to jobs and wages. By the way, that stands out even more than trade, even more than immigration. And he's got a very decent, in my humble opinion, if I do say so myself, he's got a very good economic recovery plan. She has none. None. Why doesn't he talk about it? All I need is an index card with 4 bullets on the economy, max. 4 bullets. That's all I need. Keep doing it. You know, I worked for a guy a long time ago. You just mentioned him. His name was Reagan. He had very clear, simple economic points, how to recover from the stagflation and the double-digit unemployment. And guess what? It worked. It worked. And he continued it right through the debates. So Mr. Trump needs to do that. That's my big point.
And yet, Larry, there's a comedic genius to Trump. And I don't know if he can walk away from it. He has a voice and a role that plays to the back of the house. He's an expansive personality, and those are performance arts we see in those rallies. There was one in Connecticut over the weekend, hugely popular. People were passing out in the heat, and they wouldn't leave because of his ability to deliver and to surprise. What you and Bill are recommending, and I agree with you, but what you're recommending is we put away the genius, and he plays a dull and straightforward political actor speaking of policy that the people did not come to hear, Larry. They came to hear the comedic actor, the genius.
I'm not as keen on making Trump dull and boring. I'm not as keen on that. I'm saying something a little different. I don't mind the performer in Trump. That is part of his genius, part of how he got the nomination and so forth. People relate to him. But all I'm saying is, somewhere in that performance, he's got to mention economic recovery bullets. He's got to reassure people. I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about this Gallup poll or not, but I have a different reading. To me, economic anxiety and worries about the future, including health care, written all over this.
Larry's pointing to a 87,000 respondent study published by Gallup of a sociologist saying that the Trump supporters are well-to-do, coming from parts of the country that are far from the Mexican border, tend to have professional trades, independent entrepreneurs. In fact, we're describing Republicans in ex-Serbia America. And also, they live in zip codes that are homogenous, are isolated from the hurly-burly of urban living. Please continue, Larry.
Well, no, look, to say economic anxiety is not important is I haven't read the whole poll. I'm reading an account, as you noted, from the Journal by Nick Timiraeus, who's a very good reporter. But I'm just saying, they may be above average in their income. I mean, you're talking about white males. That's always been Trump's card, and it's going to continue to be Trump's card. That's his base. But, go through the poll. They're worried about health care. They're worried about the future. They're worried that the kids won't have a better life than they have. That's got economic worries written all over it. There's just no question. They're worried about health care. Obamacare is a dreadful failure. We're going to talk about this later in the show. It's high cost. It doesn't deliver. People don't want to pay for it, and they hate the regulations.
And Aetna just walked away from it, yes.
Yeah, this is where I want him to go. And I think he knows this. You see, I think he knows this. And I'm going to throw in one other thing from my friend Bill Whalen. Roger Ailes, a two-word gate crash. Roger Ailes. Ailes is going to be his communications guy. He's going to be his debate coach. Ailes will stand up to him. And Ailes is a pretty smart guy. Now, don't you think Roger Ailes is going to say similar stuff to what I'm saying and then some?
Bill?
I would certainly hope so. Look, Roger Ailes has two credits to his political career. One is getting Richard Nixon elected in 1968, and the other one is 20 years later getting George H.W. Bush elected. And we can agree that those were two gentlemen who were not very good at communication as he got down to it. But Ailes was very good at making them talk as to what the current mood of the public called. So it was Bush, running a very smart campaign in '88, and then Nixon, like Trump in 2016, becoming a law and order guy. But again, Trump has got to... okay, so we can't make him boring. We at least have to get the sarcasm gene out of him, because here's the problem. The press, which thoroughly loved him in the primaries and enabled him in many ways to help him get the nomination, they don't want him to win this. Yes, the press are biased. Let's be honest about this. It's media bias. They're going to take every aside, every comment, every joke he makes and take it literally. That's how we got into the comment about him wanting to assassinate Hillary Clinton. It was a joke. It was an aside. He wasn't suggesting she be assassinated, but they take everything literally, so they blow it out of proportion. So, again, Trump just has to go out in these rallies, Larry, and stick to the policy and just stop trying to be funny and stop trying to be the showman. Just, stick to business.
I agree. All I ask is that somewhere in the middle of these, whatever they are, 40, 60-minute performances, get your message out, okay? I mean, really, he's not even talking about immigration. Now, he did in this foreign policy speech yesterday, so, okay, immigration was there. But up to then, I hadn't heard about immigration in a while. May not be my favorite issue, but it's certainly a popular issue. He talks sporadically about trade. But all this economic future business, and I'm going to call it future, we're in jeopardy. We haven't grown in many years. It's really 15 years, not just the Obama 7.5 years. People are worried about that. He's got a good, upbeat, positive, resuscitate America plan, make America great again. People will respond to that as long as he keeps saying it. Bill, I was in the Detroit, Cobo Center.
We've got 30 seconds
He
left.
had huge standing ovations when he talked about cutting taxes for small businesses. Huge ovations. And, by the way, when he said, I understand the benefits of free trade, but we have to enforce the law. Huge standing ovations. So I know it's there.
Can he calm down, Bill, or is there time?
Well, that's a challenge. If he can calm down for more than 24 to 48 hours and stay on message. If he can't stay on message, he's not going to win this election. If he stays on message, Larry's right. He's got a fighting chance.
Bill Whalen of the Hoover Institution, Larry Kudlow of CNBC. Falstaff or Prince Hal? Falstaff or Prince Hal? That's the Shakespearean twist here. Falstaff is enormously entertaining, but Prince Hal becomes king. I'm John Batchelor.